Okay, so we are ready. Alright, you ready, CC? We have 28 people watching on my side. How many do we have for you? No,
One.
22.
Oh,
Alright,
oh, Bob, thank you for the follow.
are you ready?
I am ready.
Someone in my chat said CC.
Hello, hit me.
Alright, what's up, everybody? I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, as all of you may know me, and here with us on this discussion is Hylian CC, returning from
Here I am.
yesterday's or last night's Hylian Gamescast. Today we are going to be talking about Pokemon. Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. Everyone either loved the rumors that were being leaked or they completely hated them. So whether you loved them or hated them, the rumors are real. Nintendo officially announced and revealed a trailer, and it is pretty awesome. We did a video a couple of weeks back. It was myself, RMFH Gaming, and Avrith, and I am happy to say that a lot of the stuff that I said that I wanted or believed would be in this is actually in it. There is one huge thing that is missing, and we will get to that. But CC, starting off, what are your reactions to this?
It looks beautiful.
It
Like
looks
that was the first thing that
beautiful.
came to my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like the DS game, but like prettier. That's the initial thought I had. I was like, oh my god, look at them. They're so like beautiful.
Yeah, it looks like an updated version of basically Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Moon.
Yeah,
They didn't show off if you could move with like the right Joy-Con stick, like move the camera. But
yeah,
if you could, that would be awesome. If it, no, not the right Joy-Con. Yeah, it's the right Joy-Con stick. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Uh, they didn't show that off, so I'm interested to know if whether or not you actually can, or if they have.
yeah. That one thing that really stood out to me was like throughout the entire trailer, everyone was using the motion. I'm
Yeah,
not a big fan of motion control, like at all, to be honest.
I
I
think.
prefer not to use it at all if I can. But I mean, if you're gonna have it on a handheld, on the Switch like this, there has to be a feature where you don't have to like
Yeah, like maybe
move it.
like you can just flick the stick because you're not gonna be
Mhm.
moving the camera around in battle. So if you can like flick
Yeah.
it to like a certain angle to throw the Pokeball a certain way. Like if you throw it straight, then you're throwing the Pokeball straight, but if you flick the stick diagonal, then it'll be like a curve ball, which might help
Yeah.
catching certain Pokemon. Um, to Game Over Jesse, I can't hear you. Can you guys not hear?
Mm,
Go to my stream. Tell me if you can hear me, CC.
okay. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, because they should be able to hear me. Like, am I quiet or just not loud at all?
I'm gonna check right now.
Baba Bonza says I sound fine. Let me know, guys. There's 45 people watching. I need to know if you guys can hear me. I'm super low.
Game over. Just see.
Let me turn my mic up real quick.
YouTube live.
I didn't really want to have to.
Game over. Just see.
Alright.
You sound fine to me.
Yeah, it sounds fine on CC's thing. I even heard it through the playback. So I don't know why you guys can't hear us. If you can't, refresh the page, turn it over. But thank you to the 50 people watching. I apologize for that audio check. But let's continue. Yeah, so depending on like whatever the Pokemon is, if you flick the switch diagonally, then maybe like you have a better chance of catching it, or maybe it's used for some sort of puzzle, or like in the overworld if you had certain items equipped
Hmm.
to it. So like if you wanted to get on your bike instead of having to go to the item menu or something, like the original Red and Blue, or not Red and Blue, but like Silver and Gold, everything. Like whenever the bike was first introduced, you had to like pause the game, go to your bag, get it out, and then ride it. Instead of that, if they had it to where, like in Zelda, they had stuff attached to like the sea items, or like the sea items. So like if you press the diagonal stick up, then maybe if it's not working for the camera, then maybe it's like an automatic use for a certain item. Like you can program different stuff for the stick. So, but maybe that's like such a small thing about everything they showed off though. Those Pokeballs, those little mini Pokeballs that you can buy and carry with you. I
Yes.
want one of those. I hope there is some way to like open them up and there's like a tiny little Pokemon inside, whether it's Pikachu or Eevee. That'd be really cool, like a mini amiibo, because they have the large
Mhm.
amiibos with like the Detective Pikachu has like a giant amiibo, and then Yoshi has a giant amiibo. So if they had a mini amiibo, I think that would be
Mhm.
really cool. Have like a tiny little Pokemon inside, and then or maybe the Pokeball is the amiibo itself because it takes data from the game like a
Mhm.
normal amiibo would, except it has a few extra features. And they showed off Mewtwo at the very end.
Yeah, at the very end.
Yeah,
He looks
spoiler
massive
alert.
next to the child that you
Yeah.
play.
No,
He's like giant.
there were parts of this to where they had like a giant Charizard or Onix, and then like some of the smaller Pokemon are riding on your head or walking behind you. But these giant Pokemon, it shows them like you're riding on top of them, like through the town and stuff. So I think that's really cool.
Wait, riding the Pokemon?
Yeah, like there's a scene where
Like
the
in
character's like
on
riding
it?
on top of an Onix, and I think they
Oh, I
showed
didn't
one where
see
he was
that.
flying on a Charizard. Yeah,
I missed that. I mean, you could kind of do that in Sun and Moon, right?
I think so. I know
Yeah.
like if you were on a water Pokemon, you'll like surf on them through the water. So
Mhm. And then you could ride the. I'm really bad with all the Pokemon names, but you could ride the one that looks like a giant like buffalo throughout the town.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You could do that on Sun and Moon. Like the I forgot about that.
You can't fight wild Pokemon.
So
I don't know if I'll buy it.
it
Wait, you can't fight wild Pokemon?
yeah, there like I'm watching the trailer right now. He's literally fighting a wild Pidgeot.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw him in the tall grass and at part of the
Yeah,
trailer also.
yeah. There's wild
It's
Pokemon.
basically a combination of Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Go and Pokemon Gold and Silver.
Well, we don't have any confirmation on the gold and silver part. Like, we know we're
That's
going
just
to be in Kanto. We don't know if we're going to be in the other place. Unless Nintendo made some sort of official statement. Everyone's saying my mic is low.
there's
Alright, you glitched out, CC. You're freezing up on me. Alright,
Oh, there you
okay,
are.
you're back. Yay.
Okay, you too. You froze out on my side too.
Yeah, so like this, I know a lot of people wanted something that was a different art style than with Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Moon, but the way this looks, I'm happy with it. Like, I don't
I was
know.
gonna say I'm actually pretty happy with it.
Yeah, like there's a lot of people that would have loved something different, but
Like in what sense?
yeah, like if you look at Pokemon game like on the 3DS, they had Pokemon X and Y, which looked a certain way. It was like really chibi art style. And then they had Sun and Moon, which was basically what we're seeing now, just on the 3DS and not the Switch. So, like, even though both games are on the 3DS, it switched art styles and graphic styles. So, with this, like, this is the first Pokemon game on the Switch. So, maybe the next big Pokemon game on the Switch, when it comes out, it will change the art style. And maybe they just,
Mhm.
like, reused this because
As a starter, like kind of a
yeah,
push.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they already had the art style. They didn't have to work on it as
Hmm.
much. But yeah,
Yeah.
like, did you think all of these rumors were true when you first seen them, or did you just like ignore them, thinking they were dumb?
I personally ignore spoilers. They're definitely fun to look at in the sense, but I try not to think too deeply into them because half the time they're fake, half the time they're legit spoilers, and I'm not the type that cares about spoilers. I know a lot of people are like, "What are you doing? Don't post spoilers," which in some sense I do think is disrespectful to the company, but personally I could care less about spoilers. So I didn't think too much on it when I saw the spoilers. I was like, "Oh, that looks pretty."
Yeah.
Again, it
Woodford
caught my eye.
in the chat says
But
cool mug.
cool mug. Oh, TY. SM.
Yeah. So like with the spoilers, I had a few people that were telling me that they were true, but
Mhm.
like there was another leaker that I know who got popular really quickly for being a leaker. I put that in quotes, and then there was a bunch of people that came forward saying that they were purposefully giving him like fake information
Mhm.
because they wanted to expose him or whatever. But so like with situations like that, you never know how real leaks are. If it's just someone wanting to get attention by
Exactly.
getting stuff, but
False hope or.
yeah. So whenever I had people telling me like, "Oh, Pokemon's gonna do this. It's gonna be this. It's gonna have this in it," I didn't know if it was just someone like just trying to talk to their favorite YouTube person or if they were
Mhm.
actually being serious. So like I don't know, like there was a lot of people that were saying that there was going to be a Pokemon announcement this month, but then it got to where it's like 3 days left until the end of the month, and it's like, well,
Wait a
like
minute.
it didn't happen the first 28 days of the month. I don't think it's going to happen on the last 3, but it apparently it did. And this was
It did.
Nintendo's this was likely the best-selling game for next year. Is going to be this game because Pokemon games always sell amazingly well.
Oh wait, I didn't even see the release date. I just saw November. This November, right? Or next November?
No, it's releasing this year.
Okay, okay. You okay?
But the thing is, like, with this,
Uh-huh.
it's just, like, I don't know why they wouldn't save it for E3. Maybe their E3 is going to be so packed they didn't want to have this trailer in, or maybe they wanted to build up excitement a week or two before
Yeah, I
E3.
was gonna say maybe they're building the excitement. Maybe they have more to show at
Yeah.
E3.
Yeah, like everyone's going to be playing this at E3. So, you like when we
Mm.
go out for Korean barbecue, you and RJ are going to hear me bragging about how awesome Pokemon is because
Uh-huh.
yeah. And
What's it
then
called? What do
what
you think of incorporating Pokemon Go?
I think that's an awesome idea, which
Yeah.
the video that I mentioned earlier with Rick and Avrith, we were talking about how we thought Pokemon Go would connect to this new Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, and it's
Mhm.
like the stuff that it showed off is basically what I said because they thought it was just gonna be like you can, or one of them thought it would be that you can just check the stats of the Pokemon and it would be a very linear experience. But
Mhm.
what I was saying, which is what it's showing off, is like you can just like literally transfer your Pokemon to
Yeah.
Pokemon Go and then take it back to the Switch, which I think is going to make a lot of people more excited to be playing Pokemon
Yeah.
Go on their cell phone because now it's not only are you battling with random Pokemon you caught in Pokemon Go, but all of those Pokemon that you caught on Pokemon Go.
You can
So
have
yeah, you can
on
just
your Switch.
start over and like switch those to your Switch, pun intended, and it'll be like you'll have a deeper connection with those Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. But we're gonna change this up, and we're gonna go back and forth, and we're gonna list 5 features that we really want to see in this game. So 5 things that we haven't seen just yet. I'll do number 1, you'll do 2, I'll do 3, you'll do 4, and then maybe we can come together on a 5th one. So
Okay.
the first feature that I want is we've seen co-op multiplayer where someone can literally
Mhm.
take a Joy-Con, drop in. I want to see online multiplayer like that, to where you and I, me and Daniel, Kayla and I, or whoever, can play these games with each other on our own Switches.
Yeah.
Obviously, you'll be able to battle with people,
Mhm.
but because Pokemon's always had online battle function, online trading function, they even added that to the original Yellow and Red, or well, I forget which one, Yellow, Red, and Blue. I think they brought to the 3DS, and they added in online stuff for that. So with this game, I want them to take it to the next step and make this co-op. Like maybe they had that in the original trailer, and then at E3 they'll announce, "Hey, we introduced co-op in the first trailer. Now this is the full extension of that, where it is like huge online multiplayer, where you're walking around the world with a friend, not just sharing a Joy-Con." And
Yeah.
then they can have their own Pokemon. You can have your Pokemon, and it's not like they're just using your Pokemon, which is what it seemed like from the trailer. To where like when someone uses your Joy-Con, they just use the Pokemon that you already have. So
Yeah, and then you guys are both catching the same Pokemon.
yeah, so online multiplayer is one thing that I want that they didn't show off. So what is one thing that you want, Cece?
It's difficult for me.
It is.
I haven't played a lot of Pokemon games, to be honest. I played one of the ones on the GameCube and Sun and Moon, and like one of them on the Game Boy. So it's not particularly like my style of like game that I love. Um, so it's really hard for me to say what features I want specifically in Pokemon
Yeah,
because
when it
when
comes
I
to
think of
your
video games, I think of
addiction,
like
it's Zelda,
yeah,
Fortnite.
Fortnite. I think of like open world and like no restrictions.
Yeah,
But I know that's not gonna happen with Pokemon, so it's hard to say like that. That's what I want
it
because it's
would
not
be
very
awesome if it
realistic,
did. I think that's something
right?
everyone wanted, was like a true open world Pokemon. But
That would be really cool.
where this
Like,
is a remake of the original, maybe they didn't
which
want
one?
to like go too far out there. So like
Like
they wanted to
one of
keep
the
the
ones.
structure the same. Where
Yeah,
the original wasn't open world, so if they would have made this one open world, then fans of the original would have complained. So
yeah,
maybe they're doing the linear structure with this one, and then the next original game is going to be this huge open world ish type thing, to where it doesn't
that
necessarily
would
have
be
to be
awesome.
open world, but like you can visit, instead of visiting one gym and then having to visit the second, the third, maybe you can like visit them in any order you want, so that you can
Yeah,
really go to. It makes it like opens it up a bit more than it has been in past
yeah,
games.
I agree. Yeah, because one of the things that I remember when I played it on the GameCube, I think it was I don't remember, but you remember which ones they were, right?
Yeah, like
I don't think it was
Pokemon
Colosseum.
Coliseum, was it not?
I think it was XD
Gale of Darkness was.
or that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think it was
remember
Pokemon XD
when
Gale of Darkness.
that one. So I remember when I was like, let's say in town A, I had to go to town B, and there was that whole like cutscene in the middle of you just riding your scooter
Oh
to get
yeah,
from point A to point B, and I was like, it'd be really cool if I could just walk myself and explore on my way to that town, you know.
yeah,
So that was something. So that's something that kind of came to my mind when I thought like open world things like that. I know with um, Sun and Moon they didn't have that
yeah,
problem, except a couple cutscenes where you were riding the Pokemon from one island to the other.
yeah. Hmm. Well, the third thing or I guess the second thing that I would want, the third thing here is I would want them to either introduce this as free DLC or it would be DLC that I would be happy with, which is in Pokemon Go, they began with just the original 150 Pokemon. And later on, you would get updates to where they released as free DLC the second generation or the third generation. So it was like 4 or 5, 6 months, however long after Pokemon Go came out, they released whatever the next generation was. So with this game, if they did something similar, that way, and I've used this example before, let's say you're a huge fan of Generation 4. Like that's your all-time favorite generation, but you still like Pokemon in general. So you buy this game, you play it, you beat it, and instead of just taking it, trading it in, or selling it to someone used, you keep it. That way, once the update releases for Generation 4 and you replay it, it's like playing through a completely different game. Because now you suddenly have all of your favorite Pokemon to play with and start over. Whereas before, you only had the original 150, which maybe someone who's newer to the series may not be that familiar with. So
Yeah.
and then maybe after one full year, so every 2 months they'll release a new generation. So after a full year, you have all 7 generations of Pokemon, and that's a way to make the longevity of the game stay.
That would be pretty cool.
Because it looks like it's just starting with the original 150.
Mewtwo was part of the 150, the original?
Yeah, he was 150, and then Mew was 151. So people say 150 because it's an even number, but it was really 151. And then even in the original anime, there were Pokemon that were in the second generation that weren't officially announced yet. Like the very first episode starts or ends with Ash seeing Ho-Oh, which is a legendary from the second generation. And then Misty's always carrying around a Togepi, which is also a second generation Pokemon. So there were like the first generation anime had all of not all of, but a lot of the newer Pokemon that wouldn't be announced yet. So they kind of mixed them in the anime, but the original was 151. So yeah, what's the fourth thing that you would like?
Maybe a little more variety between the two, because I remember when I got Moon, my boyfriend RJ got Sun. I don't know what expectations we specifically had, but we're like, oh, it's basically the same game.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense. But it's just like, I don't understand why it's split. So I guess what I'm saying I want is like a little more variety between the two.
Yeah.
So that it feels like,
Yeah, there have been
sense.
Pokemon games where they released and they feel almost identical. It's just a few Pokemon that are different. But then there are ones where they actually try to make it feel a lot different. So if they go in that route with this one, then not only does it give people more variety. So like if you got Eevee and I got Pikachu, then maybe my experience would be a lot different from yours.
Yeah, and it would entice people to buy both versions rather than like, oh, I already have Moon, like it's literally the same thing, why am I going to get that one?
Yeah, so instead of Nintendo getting $60 from me, they would get $120.
Someone in my chat, Deluxe, says he wants your figures.
Oh, yeah. I have Goku and Link and everyone.
And then Celia says, cough, original 190 Pokemon, cough.
Original 190? What?
Yeah, I haven't heard that.
Was that a joke? Original?
I don't know. Celia. Tell me, Celia, tell me. But she's really excited about this game, she said.
Oh. So there was originally 190 Pokemon, but 39 were removed and added to the second generation.
Oh, Oh yeah, that's what she said right now.
Okay.
Yeah, they had to cut a bunch of Pokemon from the first gen, so it's built over to the second. I see. I see.
Yeah.
Heard about that.
I guess it kind of gave them a boost when they were trying to come up with more Pokemon. Which there were other Pokemon that were just cut altogether. Like, their designs were just removed completely. So,
Taken out.
like there was the a popular one that they recently announced was like the third evolution of Pikachu. Like Garachu, whatever the name was. It was supposed to look like a horned Raichu. So,
Oh gosh.
yeah. Anyways, I guess the last thing, and then we can end this discussion. I want. Wait, what did I say the first time? I get so confused. I don't know if we no, I don't know if we talked about it at the very beginning or if I mentioned it when we started the second part. But whether I did or not, I'm going to say it again. Online multiplayer.
Yes, that was your number one thing you mentioned.
So I'm going to stress it again. I want online multiplayer so bad. Since I did mention that, I will say that I want to control the camera angle with the right Joy-Con stick.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to be able to move the camera angle around. But I want to
Me
stress I want online multiplayer. Nintendo, the Pokemon Company, Game Freak, everyone who's involved with this game, please. Online
Listen
multiplayer.
to us.
Yes. Let us be able to walk around, voice chat, which we'll probably have to use Discord anyways because of the online.
I was gonna say, couldn't you do that in Sun and Moon? I'm trying really hard to remember because I know I used to battle with RJ, but I think we ran around together a few times. As long as we had each other as friends on the DS, we were able to play together.
I have no idea.
Because I battled Valkyrie, I know that, but I don't know if we didn't like play in the story together. But I think with RJ we played in the story together. I don't remember. Do any of you guys know?
I don't think they had that because that's something that everyone wants. But if they did, then I completely forgot. Which I've mostly played Pokemon games single player anyways. Unless it was just trading to someone through Facebook or something. But anyways, that brings us to the very end. Thank you to the 40 people that are still watching. I think it got up to like 50 to 60 at one point. Thank you to everyone who's watching CC's stream as well. Where can people find you, CC?
Twitch.tv/HighlyandCC.
Nice. Alright, and you can find myself everywhere at Game Over Jesse. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, everything is /Game Over Jesse. So thank you all for watching, and thank you CC for joining me on this very last minute Pokemon news thingy.
My chat's like, what? It's over?
Yeah, we only had the one topic. Last night we went for 4 hours on the Hylian Games cast, so tonight it's just 30 minutes. So, sorry guys.
Pokemon.
But I'm sure Cece's going to be doing something. You can watch her and her, what did I call you? What was it?